All right. So one of the things we were talking about is the structure that the dogs have in their day-to-day life. And it turns out that dogs don't have any rules, and the guardian, and they get to tell the guardian when to pet them or pay attention to them. So Ellie? Emma barks for attention. We call this demand barking. And Talulah either comes and leans on them or probably scratches a little bit when they want attention. So they tell us what to do, and then the humans comply. I consider petting a dog our way of paying the dog. So I want to pay the dog for doing the things that I want. I call these desired behaviors. So what I do is when the dog comes up and barks at me, I tell the dog to sit. As soon as the dog sits, then I pet it under its chin and I say the command word of sit. Not good sit, just sit. Now I want to do it at the same time. Now if you have a treat, you can incorporate a treat at the same time. So if I go, come. Well, you guys are not cooperating. You don't sit very well because I'm thinking it's a joint issue. Sit. And you're laying down, I want you up. Come here. There we go, that's what I figured. Okay, so if she's nudging me, I say sit, sit. At the same time I give the treat, I like to scratch under the chin because for a dog, when it's proud about what it's done, its nose is parallel to the ground or tilted up. You've probably seen one of them with a special toy and they walk around the house with their nose in the air. They feel really good about themselves. Sit, sit. Now I didn't give a treat that time, I just petted under the chin. Now if the butt is here and the head is over there, you don't have to reach around to pet under the chin. But if you have the opportunity, we want to scratch them under the chin. So whenever the dog asks or demands that we do something, we give them a counter order. As soon as they comply, then we pet them. Now what will happen is after a while, the dog's going to come and start sitting in front of us, sit, without us giving the command. Now there I use my hand to motion for the command, but eventually the dog's going to come and sit in front and say, look, I'm sitting, shouldn't you be paying attention to me? And the answer is yes, at least some of the time. So when a dog comes and sits in front of us, we reach over, sit. So that becomes the new way of asking for our attention is sitting in front of us or laying down in front of us. So this introduces the concept, if you want something from the human, you have to earn it. You earn it by sitting and laying down is not really asking the dog a lot. But if you guys get in a habit of doing this, you can have a conversation with your dog like that without even saying a word. And after a while, the dog starts to identify, if I want something from the humans, I have to ask politely, and I have to understand that I'm not always going to get my way. Petting with a purpose is the easiest thing that you guys can do that will have the biggest impact on your dog's behavior. If you get into a habit of doing this, will be a gift that will reinforce the leader-follower dynamic that you're looking for the rest of her life, and you won't even spend any time or effort trying to do it. So, sit, sit. The other thing is because sitting and laying down are more subordinate positions, the more we ask our dog to do those things, the easier it is, the more comfortable they are with doing it, and the easier and quicker they do it. Then when we ask them to sit or settle down, they have an easier time doing it, as opposed to right now, well, I want to run around the house and I bark and I jump up and that's what I do. Well, that gets them more animated. So if you guys can get in a habit of petting with a purpose, you're going to notice a huge impact. Down. Now, you can also do this, I call this passive training. So she laid down, I didn't ask her to lay down, so after she did it, I reached over and I petted it. Even though she knows the word down, we're still going to use it to reinforce it and make it even more prevalent. Now, the last thing is sometimes you're going to notice maybe your husband comes in and sees Max is petting the dogs for no reason. Well, then we want to come up with a command or a family word, a watchword as I call it. I like to come up with, usually I recommend paycheck. So if you come in and you're petting the dog, you hear a paycheck, you just sit. Even if you had asked the dog to sit, because asking the dog to sit again is helpful. So then we just ask the dog to sit, and then you pet the dog and say sit, and then you say, Dad, I actually had asked her to sit before you came into the room. But we don't argue first, because if we're all on the same page and the dog sees that it's on a different page, that makes them want to be more of a follower, and then they gravitate towards us. So we want to always support each other, so even if you did it the right way, it gives you another opportunity to practice. So that's petting with a purpose. Like I said, it is the easiest thing that you will do that will have the biggest impact on the behavior of your dogs.